What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, getting into some Tech N9ne. Alright, Amir, so today on The Great Debaters, we're getting into this Tech N9ne Everready the Religion. But first, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one. We appreciate you guys' support in getting us this far and helping us get to the next level of the game. So, Amir, Tech N9ne, of course, is one of the best artists in rap history. He's extra prolific, so much great material. Everready the Religion, his 2006 album. And I have so many personal ties to this album, as we'll be getting into as we discuss these songs. But this album, I think, is great. There's so much amazing material. How did you get into this album, and what were your early thoughts?
So it's funny how you say Tech N9ne is obviously one of the best rappers ever, because I don't see him get brought up in many discussions, which is a shame because I think he's incredible. But, you know, hopefully,
it is what it is.
Hopefully the people who are watching this video will, if they haven't listened to, will listen to, or if they haven't listened to in a while, will re-listen. But I first got put on a Tech N9ne, honestly, I don't really remember how. I think it may have been through the track Caribou, maybe, but it could have been through other things too. I genuinely don't really remember. With that being said, Everready was one of the first albums that I picked up from him. And I'd say it might be my favorite Tech N9ne album. It's definitely in my top two. And, I'd probably say it is my favorite. And with that being said, let's get into one of my first tracks. Right. That would be the most popular song, Caribou. And like I said, possibly the thing that put me on a Tech N9ne. So I think it's very catchy. I think that Tech N9ne, what he did too, he's had a few of these songs because he realized how big Caribou was, but he has like tracks like KCT and, right. He had other things where he was trying to do things with other drinks he has, and was also trying to make another like big drinking song like how he had done with this. But Caribou, I think it's so catchy. The instrumental is a little like hypnotizing in a sense. I think Chris Calico and Tech N9ne, they have so many great songs under their belt. They're one of the best duos that no one ever talks about, in my opinion. Just them rapping, singing, performing at shows together. If you haven't seen a Tech N9ne show, add that to the list of things to do, because they put on a great show. But they do that on here. Chris Calico's on the chorus, Tech N9ne's rapping the songs. What I also think is great is how he's talking about not only the drink, but he's talking about the origins of the drink, how he made it in 1995, and he's talking about the ingredients throughout the song. So he's teaching you how to make the drink. And I had actually tried Caribou. I don't remember when. I think actually maybe around the time I turned 21, or even earlier than that. But I tried it, and I actually thought it was really tasty. I thought it tasted great. But the thing is, so what's funny is one day, because they have 151 rum in it, and 151 rum, that's 75% alcohol.
Right.
So I remember I was just curious one day, so I'd have the drink, whatever. Then a week or two or whatever later, I had actually taken not even a shot, not even half a shot. I'd taken maybe a quarter shot, and I'm a lightweight, by the way, but I took a quarter shot of 151 rum, and I thought it was one of the most disgusting things I'd ever had. I felt so lightheaded, but hey man, Caribou inspired me, kind of. I just got curious after. I'm damn, Caribou was so good, let's try this. And that was, just make the drink, don't do anything on the side. But Caribou, good drink, good song, put me on a Tech, and definitely one of my favorites from the album.
Alright, Caribou's not one of my three picks. I like this song, I think it's cool, but I'll just move on into mine. Mm-hmm. Now, Rick Rock is a great producer. He did several songs on here, and one of them is one of my top three picks, My Wife, My Bitch, My Girl. Now, this song, I know Tech N9ne personally, I know his family, and I know a lot about it, so hearing him make this song, I was like, oh my god, he's rapping about this for real. As we heard back on Angelic with This Ring, Tech really doesn't shy away from putting his personal business in the street, I guess you would say. So I was just blown away that he had a song like My Wife, My Bitch, My Girl, and that thankfully using Rick Rock to make these songs and bring out this muscularity of the sonics of it matched so well with the story, and then to break down the different roles each one of these women had in his life, I thought was amazing. And it just shows a different dimension of Tech rapping over a Rick Rock beat. And Rick Rock is another one of those great producers that's done so much amazing work that, like Tech N9ne, doesn't give it enough acknowledgement for his stellarness, but that's why we're here for the Great Debaters, is to highlight some of these things that happen. And what we do throughout Unique Access Entertainment is highlight some of these unsung heroes of rap. And Rick Rock, despite having some of the biggest songs in rap history, I think also still at the same time doesn't get enough recognition. And My Wife, My Bitch, My Girl is one of those. And just the story he tells, how he weaves through their relationships, his relationships with them, the trouble he's caused his wife in particular, through his devious deeds, among many other things. I just thought that was great, and it's very powerful. So that's my first pick. Amir, what's your second pick?
Well, also, and what I think is also important about that song is how the track before the Hood Connection Strange commercial, you can hear how it transitions perfectly into My Wife, My Bitch, My Girl. Like was it like the slot machine or whatever it was, and then it goes right to the beat. I nerd out when I hear stuff like that because it shows the makings of the album and how it all comes together. Dope song. My second pick would be Flash, Year Descent. So the song is called Flash, but then it's in parentheses Year Descent because the album then goes into the Descent part of the album, which is totally different sonically. But the Flash song, to me, that's also very similar to Caribou in the sense that this is one of the earlier songs I heard from Tech, so it had a lot of nostalgia for me. I really enjoyed the beat. It was more soothing. Like I said, Chris Calico, as I had stated earlier, I really like his parts on the track. Flash is just like one of those tracks that it's not providing too much lyrically. It's just like you hear Tech N9ne flowing. He's talking about some things he likes from women, particularly from the upper part of their body. And he's describing them all the way from A to the D to the double D to whatever. So he's talking about that and how they make him feel. And then what's also one funny line that I think in the song is how he's saying like, Janet Jackson, I missed the Flash because I didn't have TiVo. I remember seeing that on the Super Bowl when I was a little kid, and everyone was going crazy in the house like, oh, what happened? Like, I remember that was funny, so him saying that reminded me of that.
I'm sure he's seen it at this point.
I'm sure he's seen it by now. But, and then on top of that, too, so if you haven't seen Tech N9ne, like I said, make sure to check him out live, but I don't think it was this song, but in his shows, him and Chris Calico and whatever, they'll basically have a roll call for, women to flash. So
this is one of the songs they do it with. I've seen them do it.
Okay, so you've seen him do it. So I think maybe I came on later because I think when I was at his shows, he was doing like the areola.
They do that one too?
They do that one too. So I think I caught the shows where he did the areola. Maybe I caught one Flash. I've seen him like 4 or 5 times, so kind of forgetting. But for sure areola. But this is a track that they do it too, obviously, and you can tell why. But the sonics, the way Tech goes in, I just enjoy the track. That's my second pick.
It's not my second pick, so, I like Flash, and I enjoy seeing it in concert especially, but my second pick is My World. Now, this was one of those that I have a personal connection to because I was working with the legendary Trackster at the time, still do. But this was early on in working with him, and I actually got this beat to Tech, and we ended up selling it to Tech for this album. And when they told us they were getting Brother Lynch hung on it, that was amazing because this song, My World, is the reason why Brother Lynch ended up signing to Strange Music and doing his trilogy on the label. So not only did it have an impact because I love Brother Lynch and I think he's amazing, but then to know that this led to Brother Lynch getting his deal, that was a special feeling. And then to be able to be like, oh man, I helped make this song is pretty amazing. And the fact that Brother Lynch, Tech, and Dilemma, but especially for me, Brother Lynch and Tech in particular, just slaughter it on here. And what I liked about Brother Lynch starting off the song is that he doesn't get into the rip gut so much. It's much more of just his rapping and boasting and all this stuff with some sprinkles in of the rip gut. So it's still a little bit in there, but not to the magnitude that we hear elsewhere. And then Tech in particular just is amazing. The way the beat changes, shout out Legendary Trackster, one of my favorite beats on the album. It's just an amazing collection of sonics. And then the fact that these three rappers have such distinctive and different styles and they're all on one song and doing it in their own way so great is amazing to me. And every time I hear it, I just think back to, like, man, I helped make part of rap history, man. This is amazing. And, you know, just the song I think is great anyway. And I also know I went to the Everready, the Religion release party in Kansas City when they performed, and they brought Brother Lynch out. And I think that is the only time they ever performed a song in public. So I actually got to see that and be there for that. So that was just an amazing phenomenon for me, especially given my role in making the song happen. So that's my second pick. Amir, what's your third pick on Tech N9ne's Everready the Religion?
You know what? Before I get into my third choice, I'm happy, one, that you dropped some knowledge for people who didn't know that you worked on that track. But also, on top of that, just like I just discussed with your previous pick, this song I want to pick, but it's not really a song, it's just a skit, but the Melancholy Maze in My World intro. I mean, I love that skit so much, how he's just trying to make a withdrawal, blah, blah, and then the girl's a fan, and then he does the dope rap with where he's pounding on his chest, and he's always so good at that. But on top of that, not only is that skit amazing, but then the way it ends with, like, the gunshot, and then it goes perfectly into My World. I don't know if you had a lot of play on that part of the album.
Not at all.
But the fact that, see, you didn't, but the fact that they made it work so extremely well, and for you to probably, as then a listener of the album, to hear how they blended My World into the album, probably made you even that much happier, because they did a fantastic job putting that track into My World. Because as me as a listener, before I'd ever even met Soren, I was like, well, that was a super clean transition, and that's just what I love as a fan, to hear that stuff. So that's awesome. My World, great track. My last...
Well, one quick other thing on My World is, speaking of the creation of these things, like hearing just the instrumental beat and then what they built in with the and doing things backwards and all this stuff that's not there, like to see things grow and develop and evolve into such, like, in my opinion, musical magic from hearing the beat and then to what ends up happening, astonishing stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, my last pick, it's pretty tough. I mean, I'm just going to give a couple shout-outs here. But, like, Riot Maker, I really enjoyed. Welcome to the Midwest, I really love that. And if you hear the tracks that he makes that involve, like the Midwest Choppers and, like, Welcome to the Midwest and Worldwide Choppers, etc., like, there's some amazing stuff there. My track is going to be Come Gangsta. And Come Gangsta, to me, is... I would say, I think, is the best song on the album. I think the production from Seven is something just otherworldly.
Yes.
It's so incredible, and Seven and Tech have worked on tons of songs, right? A bunch. And really, this has to be one of their finest works of their entire work together. And I have the DVD here, which is funny because I didn't know Soren worked on this until he had told me, and he'll probably dive into it a little later. But the opening words for this song are actually taken from this DVD, and I actually didn't know that when I first heard the song, because I was like, where'd this come from? And then when I watched this, I was like, that's where it came from. So Come Gangsta, I mean, you have the person talking about Tech in the beginning, how he's selling out for the white folks and doing weird stuff, painting his face, blah, blah, whatever. And then Tech N9ne is really just, he is really, really, really going hard for what he's saying. And the great thing about Tech N9ne is not only is he just rapping, but the vocal the effects that they make to his vocals, like in the third verse, the way that Seven is making the beat different in the second and third verse at the beginning of the verses, the way Tech-9 is harmonizing, the chorus, the build-up. I mean, on a sonic level, you just have to listen to the song and take in all the elements of what's going on. And then you also have to see how Tech-9, the reason why he's one of the best ever, is because he knows how to work with the beat. He knows how to make his style adapt to the beat. And it's not in a weird sellout way or something that's out of his range. It all works. That's why he's such a great versatile artist. You have to listen to it. And also on top of that, he's also given shout-outs like he always does on so many of his songs. He's shouting out Sibo, he's shouting out Brother Lynch, he's shouting out Tupac, he's shouting out the 57 Rogue Street Dog Villains. So it's just something amazing, and I really hope people listen to that song. I think it's amazing. He talks about the Red Rags too, which then he samples and makes his own song called The Red Rags years later, and it's just one of the finest songs of his catalog. And even Yuck Mouth also has something to say at the end of it, and man, I mean, there's so much to say. Just please listen to that song if you haven't heard it. It's fantastic. Soren, what's your last pick?
Come Gangster is also my third pick, and like Amir said, I wrote and produced the Tech-9 Experience DVD, and as was the case with My World, where I was just amazed with what they ended up doing with the beat from Legendary Trackster, with Come Gangster, they had told me they were going to be using stuff from the Tech-9 Experience DVD that I wrote and produced on the album, and then when I heard Come Gangster, I just was blown away. Like Amir, I believe that this is one of Seven and Tech-9's best collaborations and probably their best. But I also think it goes into Tech-9's mind so deeply and how he gets, you know, he exists in so many different worlds simultaneously that Come Gangster explains kind of the disappointment that he feels of being ostracized to a degree from certain people because of his affinity for different parts of his personality and the way he articulates and expresses himself. And to hear him break it down, explain it, to have Black Walt, to have Chris Calico, to have Yuckmouth and others quoted, and their voices kind of accent and enforce what Tech is saying in such a powerful, meaningful way. I was just so blown away, and every time I hear this song, I just think about it because, you know, I've been to dozens of Tech-9 shows. I've, you know, written and produced DVDs with them and directed them, sold them beats. I've done all this stuff with Tech. I've covered him for so many publications and written about him extensively, and it's just amazing to see that in 2006 with Everready, The Religion, that Tech was so in sync with his emotions, his mind, his feelings, his experiences to be able to deliver a song like Come Gangster and to have it be so powerful. It's just mind-blowing, man. So that's my third pick. Obviously, that's Amir's third pick as well. It's a rare episode for the Great Debaters where we only agree on one song. So I think that's also interesting and speaks to the power of Everready, The Religion by Tech-9. It's just a great album. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. It's amazing. And I want to shout out, of course, Rick Rock, Legendary Trackster, and Seven in particular for delivering this. And I also want to give a special shout out to The Rain with Aaliyah and Rain on there, because this song, again, knowing Tech personally and knowing his wife, ex-wife, and knowing his children and different things and meeting them and seeing them grow up over the years, I just know that song, how personal it is, and to hear them both in their different performances on the song, I just thought it was amazing. And it really goes to show how, you know, how much pain you can be in while living your dream at the same time, like he did on The Ring. So anyway, or This Ring. So anyway, I'm Soren Baker.
Amir Rahimi.
As always, hit that subscribe button, like our content here on Unique Access, subscribe if you haven't already, talk about it, get us out there, get us to that #1 spot, and major shout outs to Tech-9, Strange Music.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The history of gangster rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.